including neural networks, fuzzy logic, and all that. Then in the previous classes, we started talking about the neural networks, right? So we have given introduction about the neural networks, the basic building blocks of the neural networks, the biological model for the neural network. In fact, we have even introduced the fundamental model of the neural network, which is the Pitts model. Okay, just to give you an introduction. In fact, I was going through the feedback of the previous class. A couple of students have mentioned that, sir, we wanted to know more about the how weights are getting updated, or how the learning get happen. So, in fact, this would be the entire neural network learning for the upcoming 3 modules of neural networks would be focused only on that. So since it is the introductory since we are in the beginning phases, I'm just giving you the introduction of these topics. Once we go into the details of the algorithms, then we will be knowing the learning aspects, weight updation aspects, everything. So with regard to the neural network, if you observe closely the model, okay, 1 minute, just give me. I hope all of you are able to see the diagram that is shown on the slide. Are you able to see that?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So if you see the figure closely, this is the biological neuron, and this is another neuron. So the biological neuron is receiving the input in the dendrites, and similarly it is passing the the outputs through the axons. Now, if you see the another neuron, okay, if you see the another neuron, it is also getting connected to the other neuron. So when you see the 2 neurons, there is a place called synapse, and this synapse is is closely, it's not in fact exactly connected, but it is okay. If you closely observe here this point, it is not exactly connected, okay, but there is a gap. We have discussed what is that gap inference, and then when there is activation that is getting propagated, okay, so we called it as period of latent summation, okay. That also we discussed, where the neuron getting fired based on the input. So these are the things which we discussed in the previous classes. Now, in addition to that, we also discussed what is meant by number 1, the input. 2, that is the output. Number 3 is the connection weights for a neuron. So when you look at the artificial neuron, every neuron, we said there is a threshold, and the neuron is receiving the input. So you say x1, x2, and x3, the weight to connection weight 1, connection weight 2, W3, okay, and then it gives you an output. So this is for a single neuron, okay. This is a single neuron. Now, we said the total input, net input to the neuron is x1 W1 plus x2 W2 plus x3 W3. That also we discussed. Okay, that is what we discussed in the previous class. Then, when you know that the net input to the neuron, if net input to the neuron is exceeding the threshold value, then neuron fires 1. Okay. Now that means x1 W1 plus x2 W2 plus x3 W3 is greater than or equal to threshold. This is what we discussed, right, in the previous class. And also based on this firing rule, then your y is equal to 1, else y is equal to 0. That means output. This is the firing rule. I hope all of you remember the Pitts model, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now you please closely observe how we are going to extend this. So if I am going to write x1 w1 x2 w2 plus x3 w3 minus t greater than or equal to 0, is there any problem?
No, sir.
No, sir.
x1 w1 plus x2 w2 plus x3 w3 plus 1 into minus t greater than or equal to 0. Is that fine?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So I'm going to call, if you notice, I'm going to call this particular entity. I'm going to call this particular entity as bias. What is this bias? In addition to your regular input, the neuron, so if you see here, this is the neuron. The neuron is having input x1, x2, x3, w1, w2, w3. Now, if you notice in the equation, there is an extra point called bias where you are giving input of +1. What is the connection weight of WB minus threshold of the neuron? Is that okay if I write like this?
Yes, sir.
So means you are going to have an additional input which is always +1, okay, of at bias. Okay, bias input is always 1. Bias connection weight is negative of threshold value of the neuron. Bias connection weight is negative of threshold value of the neuron. So you may be seeing certain activation. Now you see here, now what happens? I am going to change this your firing rule of Pitts model, what we have written here as if your sigma I 1 to n xi wi plus your xb, which is bias, plus wb, that is bias weight, is greater than or equal to 0, then neuron fires. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So,
sir.
so that means, please remember, you are going to have the wherever threshold is there, fine. Wherever threshold is not there, you are going to have additional input called bias, okay, which is going to be introduced to the network. So this point also we need to remember that. Okay, next. So now so
Sir,
far,
can
yes,
you repeat
please.
the last point?
Okay. Okay, I'm just going back. So if you notice, in majority of the scenarios, you will not be given with, in the problems or in the practical scenarios, you will not be given with the threshold value of this neuron. So typically, when you look at yesterday's class, we talked about comparing the net input with the threshold. So we are not, in practical applications, we are not going to have the threshold value. So we are going to have an additional input +1, whose weight See, in the yesterday's class, in fact, when we were talking about what is meant by learning, we said input is given, we said output is known. What is not known is weights and in fact threshold. Now the point is, actually speaking, we don't know the threshold. Now, what we are doing is we are bringing that also as an input, giving a positive input and considering the negative of the threshold value of the neuron as the connection weight of that bias input. Now, what is actually learning?
Connection weights, sir. All about connection weights.
So learning is to know connection weights. So in the process, what happened is you train the network or you learn the network such that not only your W1, W2, W3, but also your WB would be learned. Once you learn the WB, what does it mean? You have learned the negative of the threshold of the neuron and hence you know the threshold of the neuron. Okay. So, where you generally would not know the threshold value of the neuron. So that's the reason why we are bringing this to the input, giving a positive input and making the connection weight as the negative value of the threshold value of the neuron. But initially, when we are started learning the network or when we are started learning about the connection weights, what we do is all these connection weights, W1, W2, W3, and in fact WB are also fixed at random. Okay, they are fixed at random. Then once what happens, when you start learning, you keep learning about these connection weights, and once your learning is complete, means you are fixing the connection weights. In that process, you will fix the connection weight of the bias also. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
All of you, is that all of you, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
okay.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, fine. So we have seen the Pitts model and we have seen how we are bringing the concept called threshold value and making it as the and making it as the the input and then learning the concept. Now let us see the you just have a look at the historical developments of the neural network. Okay, so there are so many models that were brought in. Okay, in fact, the one what we discussed, McCulloch-Pitts model, okay, in the previous class, was introduced in 1940s. Okay, so it is the mechanism for learning, inspired from the biological neurons, and we just did with a simple network. Okay, then you have in 1950s perceptron network. Then you have a lot of other things that have come. Okay, so we will be discussing a majority of them, not all, in the class. So this is the historical sketch. I would rather suggest you guys to read from the book. Is that you can read from the book in a very lucid manner. Book contains a lot of illustration of this. Is that clear?
Yes, sir. Sir, do you have any PDF or anything for reading? Because that book is like scanned copy and
yeah. I
everything.
tried my level best. Here. I should not, since it is recording, I cannot speak now. But the point is, I tried my level best. If I get it, I will share it. In case if you guys get it, you please share it. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, fine. Now let us go back to the neuron once again. Okay. See, when you keep reading the books, you will see different kinds of introducing or different ways of introducing the neural networks or even the neurons. Okay, now let us look at, so far we have seen this particular pattern. So X1, X2, X3, W1, W2, W3, and okay, so you are having a threshold value and then there is a net input and then there is a output. If you notice some of the books, okay, I would suggest you guys to read, don't read only one book. I would suggest you guys to look at different literature and all that. So when you read different books, you will see different notations. And remember, since there is a threshold, the neuron looks like this. Imagine if there is no threshold, you may be having the bias, right? So where bias input is always 1 and the connection weight is negative of the threshold value of the neuron, right? This is how your the neuron, typical neuron, what we discussed. Now look at the the way your yeah, just give me a minute. I don't know how to bring this. Okay, just give me a minute. Okay, so now look at this particular architecture. Okay, is that clear? Figure visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So if you see the different way of writing the same thing, what we discussed, so different books introduced in a different manner. So if you notice, there is an input, okay, in the form of a scalar value. There is a connection weight. This is a single neuron. This is for single neuron. Okay. So the scalar values are the inputs, small p italics, weights, and there is a bias. If you notice here, there is a bias, and cumulative input, that means p dot w plus, since there is a single neuron, p dot w plus 1 into b is your summation, okay, and that is n, and you apply that to a function which is your, what is this function you call?
Activation function.
Activation function.
Activation function, or you call them as a transfer function also. Okay, so that gives you an output A. So how do you write? A is equal to f of your your PW or WP plus bias, is your output. Okay, is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So if WP plus B is greater than or equal to 0, then what happens? A is equal to
1.
1.
Yes, A is equal to 0. Okay, so this is called hard limiting, or remember there are several notations. Binary step, okay, function, okay, hard limiting function or binary step function. Is that clear? So this is about single neuron. Is that clear? Any doubts?
Clear, sir.
Now let us see the different notations of okay, now let us see, since we have seen the single neuron, now let us see the multiple neurons. Okay, now look at the multiple neurons. How we have done this, in the so far, if you notice, we said there is multiple input neuron. So you are having 1, 2, 3, 4, like this. You have multiple input to the neuron. Is that clear? What you are seeing? So P1, P2, P3, so on. See, this is the way the representation happens in various standard books. Okay, some of the books follow the way I have drawn here with a circle and inputs. Some of the books follow this particular terminology. So if you notice here, the inputs, the connection weights, and there is a bias. Then cumulative input going to the activation function producing the output. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So the reason I am mentioning is different books contains different terminology. Now let us look at we have so far what we have seen is the the single layer. Okay, now let us see the multiple layers. In case if you have multiple layers, how the neurons looks. So if you notice x1, x2, x3, I'm giving inputs and they are going, if you notice, sometimes, if you notice, okay, and then x2, 1, 2, okay, there is one more connection. Okay, 1, 2, is it everything connected? Okay, now you see here, I am having 2 neurons here. 1, 2, 3, and then here, then here. So you have one output, imagine. Okay, but if you notice here, you have input and you have layers of neurons. Okay, you have layer of neurons. What you have, you have one neuron 1 here, neuron 2, neuron 3. There are okay, it is like this. Okay, I think probably the diagram would looks like this. You have multiple neurons at the output, okay, giving you the output like this. Okay. So, but the point is that your activation output A is equal to f of capital W here. In this case, this is the matrix representation. Okay. Connection weights. Don't worry, we will see all these things when we are solving the problems. Okay. Matrix of connection weights. Now let us see the multi-layer neural network, how it looks. In the case of what I have drawn here is, let us see the multi-layer neural network, how it looks. So you have inputs, okay, you have inputs, you have the hidden layer, and there is a output layer. Okay. So you can say that what I have drawn, I think in the previous, x1, x2, x3 is going as an input with again you have a layer here, again you have a layer here. Okay, all are connected. Okay. All these connections you can notice. Okay. So if you notice here, the point I wanted to bring it to your attention is that the way you represent here in the form of the architecture, or in this particular form, the mechanism or the rule that what we apply is same. So that's what I wanted to mention here. Okay, now let us go back to the our activation functions. We will discuss more about the activation functions now, and then see what is the each activation function is doing. So far we have introduced only one activation function. That is, if your activation functions. Okay. What we said was, if your net input is greater than or equal to 0, okay, or you can say threshold, no issue. Output is 1. If it is less than 0, output is 0. This is called binary step or hard limit function. Then you have another activation function which says, if net input is less than 0, or okay, let us go with only one notation. That is, first we will go with greater than notation, then we will come back. Just give me a minute. Yeah. If net input is greater than or equal to 0, then output is equal to 1. If net input is less than 0, then output is -1. This is called symmetrical hard limit function or bipolar step function. Is that clear? The two activation functions?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Then your output, imagine output, let me call it as y. Okay. So I'm calling output as y. Okay. So if your y is your net input itself, that means your output is the input, total net input, that what you are getting. Such function is called linear activation function or identity function. So what is that happening? You are just passing the input, whatever you receive, or the neuron is getting fired as an output. It's called linear activation function. And remember, there is no condition here. It is for all your input. Okay, it's the same. This is called linear or identity activation function. Then you have another activation function which says your y is equal to net input. Y is equal to net input if your net input is under the condition 0 less than or equal to your net input less than or equal to 1. Okay. The y is equal to 0 if your net input is less than 0. This is equal to 1 if net input is greater than 1. So your y is linear, okay, as it was shown in the equation 3 or step activation function 3. Your y is linear if your net input is in the range 0 to 1. If your net input is above 1, your activation function is going to fire 1. Otherwise, your activation function is going to fire 0. This activation function is called saturating linear activation function. Is that clear? The fourth one?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, the linear saturating one is having a different terminology. If your y is equal to net input, y is equal to net input, if it is -1 less than or equal to net input less than or equal to 1, it is net input. It is 1 when net input is greater than 1, it is -1, your net input is less than -1. Okay, so you can consider in the case of 0, if it is becoming -1, what happens is that this particular activation function becomes symmetric saturating linear activation function. Is that clear? So what I have written in the red color is about you replace 0 with the -1. What you are going to get is the symmetric saturating linear activation function. Okay. Is that clear? So these are all the various activation functions. Remember, these activation functions are deployed based on the type of application. You have next another activation function called sigmoidal activation function. It's taking some time. So, okay. So the sigmoidal activation function, you are going to get y is equal to 1 by 1 plus e power minus lambda net input. Okay, this is called sigmoidal activation. Okay, it's also called binary sigmoidal also sometimes. Okay. Okay. Or log sigmoidal. These are all the various names. Remember, we will be talking about lambda a little later. Then you have another activation function that says y is equal to e power net input minus e power minus net input. Of course, you have to add lambda here, lambda net, by e power lambda net input, e power minus input, e power lambda net input minus e power minus lambda net input divided by e power lambda net input plus e power minus lambda net input. This function is called bipolar sigmoidal, okay, or hyperbolic tangent, hyperbolic tangent sigmoid, hyperbolic tangent sigmoidal activation function. Okay, then you have another interesting activation function where your y is equal to 1, y is equal to 1, where on the neuron with maximum activation. This is very interesting. Okay, this is totally different firing rule. Okay, it is 0. It is 0. It is 0 on. It is 0 on all other neurons. That means what actually is this firing rule. In order to apply that firing rule, you need to have a network where in the output layer you have several neurons. That means multiple neurons in the output layer, and you are expecting output from only one neuron in that output layer. So which neuron you are going to get the output? Where the neuron that is having the maximum activation, that neuron is going to get 1, or for all the remaining neurons, the activation is 0. So this is called competitive activation function. Okay, this is called competitive activation. Is that clear?
Sir.
Yes, please.
So maximum activation means that some cumulative sum?
Yes, yes. See, when we say, uh, um, an output layer neuron getting output of 1 for a competitive activation function means that particular neuron is receiving maximum activation. That means it is receiving the maximum net input. Okay, I can say like this. The neuron that is receiving maximum net input is going to fire 1, remaining all neurons are going to fire 0.
Okay, sir.
It's called competitive neural network. So far we have seen, the almost around 7 activation functions. Okay, and these are all 7. You can call them as transfer functions. Okay. Now, if you just have a quick look at the way these activation functions typically looks when you plot them. Okay. Let us see how they look. I just take from slide. Try to keep these activation functions for your understanding. So look at the hard limiting activation function. Okay, where we said it is going to fire 1 if net input is greater than or equal to 0. So you can notice that once the net input is greater than or equal to 0, the neuron fires 1. Otherwise, the neuron fires 0. So that means your output is on the x-axis. Your x-axis is the total net input. Okay, sorry, your y-axis is the your output, and your x-axis is the total net input. So the moment your net input is greater than or equal to your 0, the activation is function is going to provide 1. Otherwise, it is 0. So this is hard limiting activation function. So a typical graph of a hard limiting activation function looks like this. Similarly, when you apply the with bias, your hard limiting activation function graph looks like this. Similarly, the linear transfer function, that means passing the activation. Okay, whatever the net input that comes, you are passing the activation. The function looks like this because you are passing the net input what you are receiving as an output. Okay, like this you have various plots that shows the net activations and the way the network graph, the learning graph looks. So if you see here, this is for the log sigmoidal function where 1 by 1 plus e power minus lambda net. Okay, is that clear? So I suggest you guys to have a look at this is only for our understanding purpose. Okay. Now let us see, these are all the various activation functions. Now let us see one particular problem and close for the day. Okay, is that okay? Shall we look at one particular problem and try to have a better understanding?
Yes.
So all of you please take a pen and paper. We will have one problem like what we have done in the case of Pitts model. So note down this particular problem. Imagine you are having a single. The problem is this: there is a single input neuron. Okay. Now the input is 2.0. The connection weight is 2.3. Okay, and your bias connection weight. Okay, the bias connection weight is -3. Okay. Okay. Now, can you guys calculate these things? Number 1, net input. Number 2, output. and tell me.
So net input is 4.6.
See, I don't have answer, so you please guys tell me what is net input and what is output. Somebody said 4.6. How do you got it?
So input into weight, sir, connection weight.
What is that?
2 into 2.3.
Okay. Then
Plus 1 into minus 3.
How much you got?
So 1.6.
It's 1.6. Okay. Now tell me what is the output?
1, sir.
1.
Why?
So as it is greater than 0.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
But had I given you the activation function?
No, I thought that we
Yeah,
are
yeah.
using that
Yeah, I
hard
understand.
limiting.
Okay. So you have applied hard limiting. So anyway, my suggestion is, I thought somebody will ask me the question, sir, what is the activation function? But anyway, no issue. So you please try with this all possible activation function. One with hard limiting activation, then one with linear activation, okay, and then one with the graph which is showing there log sigmoid activation. Okay, so please try that. Okay. So please try that. Next, let us see one more interesting problem where the problem is this. This is second problem. There is single neuron. Okay, it has two inputs. And you can regard those two inputs as in the form of a vector -5 and 6, and the corresponding input weights also I am giving in the form of a vector 3, 2. Okay, and I am giving the bias weight as 1.2. Now please try with saturating linear transfer function. Similarly, also please try with hyperbolic tangent sigmoid function. Okay.
So how
Yeah,
is
please.
bias weight positive, sir?
Sorry?
How is the bias weight positive?
We give bias weight only positive. Okay. So the reason, I have narrated when we were talking about, first of all, bringing the bias, giving as an input, the rationality I have explained. When we were discussing about the threshold values, we know that, we do not know the threshold values of the neuron. So what we did, we have brought the as an input, and we assumed that always that is positive one. Obviously, the connection weight of that neuron is the negative of the threshold value of the neuron. Okay. So in the process, what is that you are going to do is you are always giving the positive input over the bias connection and try to learn the connection weight of that bias connection. Okay. And remember, whenever, okay, I hope you got it clarity.
Yes, sir.
Now the point is, whenever you are applying these, the activation functions such as log sigmoid or hyperbolic tangent sigmoid, for time being, you please take that delta value as 1. We will be discussing about the delta value, why it is 1, what is the necessity and all that little later. Okay. So your textbook, please go back to the textbook, the PDF file that I have uploaded. It has lot of solved problems. Okay. In fact, you can notice the Pitts model. The other day we discussed the Pitts model, the AND function, the way AND function is implemented for the Pitts model. They have narrated. Similarly, they have narrated various other, the logical gates with the help of OR function, with the help of Pitts model. And these are all the solved out problems. I hope you guys have checked the book. Then at the end of that chapter, you have certain exercise problems. So please go back, if you notice the textbook, section 2.11, exercise problems. So please solve problem 1. Similarly, problem 3. Okay, please solve these 2 problems. And once you solve it, what I suggest you guys is, once you solve it on the pen and paper, with the pen and paper, please scan it and then upload it in the Teams, okay, itself, in the today's channel. Okay, is that clear?
So can you mention the page number, sir?
My goodness.